before anything else is done, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you're kept up to date with hard hitting social democratic commentary by yours truly, American Social Democracy. Now, I want to talk about this debacle between Steve Crowder and Sam Seder. It's been the thing to talk about in the last couple of days, and I confess it was quite quite a lovely couple of days. Seeing someone I really, really despise being humiliated, it just felt good. It's not really a positive part of a character that's to be admired. It's a flawed part of my character. I admit it. But I frankly don't like Steven Crowder. It's just the kind of person that he is. And there are conservatives out there that I don't have a problem with. I mean, I don't particularly agree with anything that Tim Pool has to say, but I'm not harsh on him like other lefties are. I mean, I don't care. I mean, if he grifted to the right, he grifted to the right. I mean, he does. He tends to still have an independent streak in him that you don't find in people like Dave Rubin, for example, who definitely grifted toward the right, or Candace Owens, who grifted toward the right. I mean, he's not as bad as they are. And Ben Shapiro, I mean, he's just an arrogant little kid. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, he looks like a kid, and his shtick is to go and own impressionable little college kids, and people are supposed to be impressed by that. But my big problem with Steven Crowder is that he's a damn bully. I mean, he's a damn bully, and he's not really all that funny, and he's just an awful person, and he's a hack. He's not even all that great at it, and yet he's going to get 5-6 million subscribers. And as I said previously, although I've been giving Sam Seder a lot of praise in the last few days, I'm to confess I'm not really the biggest fan of Sam Seder. I mean, I like him okay. And actually, in the brawl between Sam Seder and Jimmy Dore, I'm more on the side of Jimmy Dore than I am Sam Seder. But I do look at the two and think, well, they both have their flaws and they have their positive aspects. I'm talking about both Sam Seder and Jimmy Dore. And so, but anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that you have people on the right, quite a number of people on the right online saying, he was sabotaged, and it's not right what Sam Seder did, and how dare he would do this? This is just so underhanded, and it was a bit underhanded, I admit. But we're talking about someone like Sam Seder again, who is a terrible human being. I mean, when he goes to college campuses and he finds impressionable kids to humiliate on campus, and somebody be like, well, Sam Seder, and the reason why Sam Seder is being avoided by Steven Crowder is that, well, Steven Crowder's got 5.5 million subscribers. Sam Seder's got only 1 million. Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, most people who will watch Steven Crowder, probably close to half, maybe somewhere between a third to a half of the audience would know who Sam Seder is. Sam Seder is not a super obscure person. Okay, he's not super obscure. And also, if you're going to go and use the numbers game again, do these little kids on the college campus that Steven Crowder tries to humiliate, do they have 6-7 million subscribers on their YouTube channel, if they even have a YouTube channel or a YouTube account for that matter? I mean, think about that. That's a lame excuse. Another caveat I like to add, and the Amazing Atheist said this the other day, and a lot of people think, even Steven Crowder fans think, he should not have wussed out and weaseled his way out of that studio. He should have just go and taken on Sam Seder. And you know what would have happened if Sam Seder and Steven Crowder would have debated a few evenings ago, or at 2018 Politicon, where they were supposed to have an official debate? You know what would have happened? I'll tell you what would have happened. Sam Seder fans will be like, hey, Sam Seder won the debate. Steven Crowder fans will be like, hey, Steven Crowder won the debate. Nobody's minds would have been changed, other than the fact that these two major political figures on the internet and social media finally met and had a debate. Nobody's mind would have been changed. And here's the thing. No matter how you slice it or dice it, and yeah, I know it was underhanded what Sam Seder did, but nobody can deny that Steven Crowder cowered his way out of it. He was absolutely quivering. He was like a little baby in distress when he saw Sam Seder. Why? Because he's been trying to avoid him for years. I mean, and for somebody like myself, and I say these things over and over again. I'm an online leftist commentator myself. Very small potatoes, but a leftist online commentator just the same. And I am actually to the left of Sam Seder. Not that it matters, except in this context. That the fact that Sam Seder had to do what he had to do, because all these people on the right, the online right, will say that no liberal dares to debate them, and they own the libs, and frankly cannot have that lie go on. We cannot let that lie go on. Yeah, and as I said on occasion here, this is part of the reason why I have this channel. I mean, it was initially to go and to give prop ups to the Bernie Sanders campaign as the official first online Bernie bro, but it was also to share economic insights on what we can do to our economy to make life better for the average working people, where we've seen increasing income inequality. Is to provide everything in historical context when pursuing the policies that I think that are crucial to save this country, and to let people know that socialism is not, what it is, and it is not. And it ain't killing fields in Cambodia. It ain't gulags in the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin. Is not, it's not the Great Leap Forward by Mao Zedong, which resulted in the deaths of 65 million people. It's not any of these things, It's not the overall murder of 100 million people in the 20th century. That myth, using the incorrect word to describe the death of 100 million Americans, socialism. Socialism did not kill 100 million people. Now, communism may have killed millions of people. So has capitalism. And socialism is a different economic, social system from capitalism and communism. All three are different ideologies. And I know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm not a Marxist theoretician. I'm not even a Marxist. But what I'm trying to say is that I know what socialism is and is not. And that's why I have this channel. And one of the most important reasons I have this channel is to refute the kind of slop that is being passed by people like your Ben Shapiro's and people like Steven Crowder. I mean, it's gotten to the point that, that even someone like Nick Fuentes, who I'm not a fan of, believe me when I tell you this, I am not a fan of Nick Fuentes, but Nick Fuentes shared his insight as to why Sam Seder won't debate anyone. And, well, you need to listen for yourself, and I'm going to comment on it in a second. So, hold tight here and you'll see what I mean, and I'll explain more.
What this is about is that their ideas suck, and they know that they suck, and they know that if any competent leftist or any competent real conservative, real right-wing person were to debate them, they would get humiliated. And that's ultimately what all of this is about. Steven Crowder and Shapiro and these guys can't debate anybody anymore. They have gotten to a level of success where what they are saying is somewhat important, in the sense that when these guys were starting out, they weren't beholden to the same interests that they are now. They weren't tangled up with all these different connected people, all these different advertisers or social media platforms. It's gotten too tough to go out there and tell the truth. It's too difficult to maintain a massive, well-funded operation that still exists on the platforms while telling the truth. And what's more is they've pigeonholed themselves into this ideology which doesn't even make any sense anymore. This like libertarian, conservative light, it's barely even conservative anymore ideology. It's contradictory. It doesn't argue against the left. It doesn't really stand the test against the right. And so the entire conservative infrastructure from Daily Wire to Louder with Crowder to any of these guys, if they were to face, again, even a halfway decent, competent opponent from the left or from the real right, from their right, they know that they wouldn't be able to handle a debate like that. They know that they would look bad. There would be viral gotcha moments against them. They would look like jackasses. And what's more, they would lose the debate. So their excuse is to say, well, we're not going to debate anybody because anybody that would debate us and win is not as famous, and they're only in it for themselves. And even if we did debate, they don't care about the debate. And even if we did debate, well, people wouldn't decide who the true victor is based on who's making the best points. They would just vote as who looks like the biggest asshole, which would be me. But even though I'm making all the right points, according to someone or something, right? That's the gist of all of this, which honestly is a good thing, because when they publish an article like this, this is just a mask off for everybody. And it's been a long time since Groyper Wars. It's been a long time coming, but they're finally coming right out and admitting that. That's what this article is an admission that the time for these ideas has passed. And you know that because now these ideas can't be challenged. And it's not like they can't be challenged because there's no challengers. It's because if they were to get challenged, they would look retarded. So now there's no more debates. Before, they could go out and debate anybody. Any leftist at any convention, at any university, and say, hey, debate me, bro. and it would be no problem. Socialism, well, did you know about Venezuela? Abortion, oh, well, did you know, whatever. But now that you've got these new and improved leftists who are a little bit more savvy, and, these are people that have come up on Reddit or their own live stream communities, and now you've got people like me and other groypers rising up, other paleocon, American nationalist types. There is just a smaller and smaller market share for this collection of people, which is out there arguing in favor of billionaires, giant corporations, the state of Israel, things like that. And so now they just have to be shielded, and they're admitting that. They have to be protected from opposing ideas. And it's almost come full circle, because this is, like I said, this is exactly what they said about the left 5 years ago. They said the left won't debate because they can't defend their ideas. The left is fragile, they are snowflakes, and they refuse to have a good faith conversation because logic will crush their arguments. And now here they are 5 years later saying, oh, well, we can't debate because, well, it's just not fair, and we don't want gotcha moments, and anyway, they're just trying to steal our clout. Oh, really? Is that why?
Okay. Stop clock gets the right time twice a day. As I said, I'm no fan of Nick Fuentes. He's a well, the best way to describe him, he's a young guy that's kind of like imagine if Ben Shapiro would be imagine Ben Shapiro meets Richard Spencer. That's that's the best way to describe him. He's basically a very Caucasian Hispanic person who is extremely anti-immigrant, and he uses dog whistles to describe his political opponents and that sort of thing. And so I'm no fan of Nick Fuentes, but he has a point in the sense that people like Ben Shapiro and people like Steven Crowder aren't being shielded because, this brand. And I think I'm going to give you my 2 cents. It's the age of populism right now. And because of this age of populism, even the online left is not where they were prior to, I would say, the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2016. And so, for many years, it was you either had corporate Democrats or really obnoxious soy boys or soy gals. I'm not trying to leave anybody out, masquerading as the left, and you didn't have a real intelligent, cogent movement to develop. Now, these voices were around, but they kind of started to come of age around the time the Bernie Sanders campaign came along. And that sort of thing also exists on the right too. You used to have the right that would defend, tax cuts and throw around culture war doo-doo like abortion or gay marriage, or sit there and do things like defend the Iraq war or defend torture and that sort of thing. And that thing doesn't fly around anymore. That movement conservatism thing has run its course as well. And Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro are still kind of that last gasping of air. They're basically Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity ideologues made for millennials and maybe some Zoomers. And they're a dying relic, and they're going to have to reinvent themselves. If I would have to give credit to one conservative out there, I would say Shagar Ingenti. And please forgive me for not pronouncing your name correctly, who co-hosts Breaking Points with Crystal Ball. Shagar Ingenti is a right-leaning populist. And what's significant about that is that he takes a more and I know I talk in terms of Eurocentric and everything, but it is what it is. He talks more like more like the European right than the American right, where he's talking about a safety net. He's talking about health care coverage, things like that. And he's very traditional in a lot of aspects, yeah, and everything. So, I mean, yeah, he's basically Tucker Carlson without the bigotry, um, with maybe a sprinkle of ideology from Bernie Sanders. That would be the best way to describe Shagar and Genty. And that populist right might be the next big thing. It'll be interesting to see how it comes out, and all that. And at least with Shagar and Genty, he's I don't know him personally. He seems like a nice guy, and so just and there are people out there a little bit older. There's one guy from South Carolina. He used to call himself the Southern Avenger. His name is Jack Hunter, and I, while I don't agree too much with his core beliefs, he does come across with an independent thought that doesn't exist among many conservatives online these days, and he's probably one of the older of the young new generation coming up. He's been around for a while. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on this. And as I said, with Steven Crowder, yeah, I know it was underhanded what Sam Seder did, but you had your comeuppance, and yeah, and all you have to do was debate Sam Seder and get it over with. That's all you have to do. That's basically what I'm saying. All you have to do was to get it over with Sam Seder, and that was it. And your brand is permanently tarnished because of what you did. It was funny as hell, but in a weird round way, I almost should feel sorry for you, Steven Crowder. Anyhow, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, well, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to go and create your own platform and utilize it, just like I did, because we're the muckrakers of our time. And once again, I ask each and every one of you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and so you're kept up to date with hard-hitting social democratic commentary by yours truly, American Social Democracy. And until next time, peace, class struggle yesterday, class struggle today, class struggle tomorrow, and class struggle until we achieve full economic and social justice for all in our time.